You know, oh God. I want to be serious on this video. Yeah? I want to be serious on this video because this is a very serious matter, all right? So I'm trying so hard not to laugh, yeah. Let's start this again. All right. You know, I find it very interesting that it's almost the end of the season and the drama just keeps coming like this is the first week. It's insane. At this point, I'm asking myself, these housemates, is it that they don't want to go home? Is it that they need an extra week? Because the drama that happened between Faith and Sultana this morning, ladies and gentlemen, it felt like those two in particular, they will probably need an extra 2 weeks to, you know, stretch out their issues and then possibly iron out their differences because it was a lot. It was a lot. And then there was K-Bobo that decided to insert himself. You see, yeah, somebody needs to provide a boxing ring in that arena because it seems like K-Bobo has too much energy that he wants to expend, right? So Biggie needs to provide him a boxing ring in that arena, yeah? And then they will put maybe one of the ninjas or maybe a bouncer that is very, very bucked up so that he will practice his fighting skills there. Because the way that guy was going about this morning, if he had his way, if there was no rules in the house, you could tell that all he wanted to do was to fight Faith or maybe beat him up because body of the pepperam, yeah. The guy was just restless. It was just it was sickening, to be very honest with all of you. But anyways, the issue was actually between Faith and Sultana, all right? So we're going to go ahead now. I'm going to spill all the juicy tea. And then during our YouTube live conversation, we will do a more in-depth analysis of the situation because there was a lot of things at play. A lot of things that was just going on. And guys, I was doing a lot of reflection, you know, throwing it back to the previous weeks, and everything that happened this morning seemed all too familiar to what exactly had happened during Faith's reign in week 7 when he was head of house. So ladies and gentlemen, we're going to dive into this video right now, all right? Please make sure you watch to the end. Don't skip out on any part, all right? And you're all welcome to my channel. My name is Bbnaija. This is Frankly Speaking with Bbnaija, and I am the girl with the tea. Without further ado, let's proceed with the rest of the details of this video. Now, going into the details of this morning's situation. So today is Saturday, the start of the weekend in Big Brother's house. We know what happens every Saturday morning, yeah? Housemates are mandated to clean the Big Brother mansion. It is the responsibility of all housemates, you know, to take up different areas and corners of the house to clean. And so head of house Sultana had got ahead to wake up everybody, and I started asking people to pick a preferred area, right? Now, as usual, people would definitely be avoiding the toilet and the bathroom. So we got to Faith's turn. And ladies and gentlemen, Faith still woke up this morning on mute. He's still not talking to anyone, yeah? So it got to Faith's turn, and Sultana had pointed to him, and he was gesticulating that he wanted to clean the lounge. I think it was the lounge, yeah. So he was gesticulating that here, that this is where he wants to clean. Now, Sultana was not having it because ever since Faith went mute, not only Sultana, but almost everybody in the house, they found it very irritating. They've been upset. They've just been, like, they've just been annoyed, yeah. So they've been avoiding him. The likes of Mide, K-Bobo, they were just going off saying things like, oh, nobody should talk to him. Leave him alone. Let us see how he's going to survive in isolation. People should not entertain him. He's looking for attention. He's looking for highlights, you know, things like that. So they've been saying a lot. They did not like it. The only people that would even associate with him are the guys like Jason J or Rue Boy when they are playing snooker or tennis, yes. But besides those people, everybody else were just avoiding Faith, just as Faith himself was also avoiding every other person in the house, yes. So, Sultana in particular, she's not like on good terms with Faith. Now, it's not like they quarreled or anything, but she just is just repulsed by him. So she was already upset Like, no, I'm the head of house. When I'm talking to you, you should open your mouth and respond to me. I'm not going to communicate with you with all those your mute things you're doing or your sign language. So she kept on insisting that Faith must open his mouth and speak to her. So Faith was signaling that he can't. But this is where he wants to clean. Now, Sultana was not having it. So she got really upset. And then she said, okay, fine. Everybody else can pick where they want to pick. And then the toilet and the bathroom, Faith will have to wash it. Faith got really upset, yes, because whilst he was signaling that he wanted to clean the lounge, somebody else now said, oh, they are going to clean the lounge. And Sultana, knowing fully well that he picked the lounge, Sultana gave the lounge to that person. So Faith was really upset, and when she made that declaration that Faith was going to wash the toilet and the bathroom, the guy got upset, stood up and gave her the middle finger. Yes. And she was like, oh, is it me? He said yes. Like, not like he said yes, like he was smiling, laughing, and then he gave her the middle finger again and he walked away. So she got really upset, like, okay, now don't wash it, you'll see. Don't wash it, you'll see. You know, so some other housemates too, they were like, oh yeah, they want to see what's going to happen that way. He has to wash it, you know, that kind of thing. So Faith left, went to go play snooker. Sultana, on the other hand, she was getting upset already. So she went to the kitchen, right? I mean, this whole thing was dragging, ladies and gentlemen, like dragged for over 3 hours. Yeah. So she went to the kitchen, was whiling away time, waiting to see if Faith was going to make any move to go and wash the toilet. Faith was not moving. Faith was still quiet, playing snooker and whatnot. Now, Sultana was in the kitchen. There was K-Bobo, there was Ruboy, there was Menson, and she started searching for things that belonged to Faith. Now, we all know that Faith is not one of those housemates that eats a lot. Yeah. The one thing that you're sure to catch Faith eating is popcorn and ice cream. That is one thing that he eats a lot, or two things rather that he eats a lot: popcorn and ice cream. Popcorn and ice cream. Faith could go for days without eating the general food that they cook in the house. It's only like once in a while that you catch him eating the general food of the house, right? So Sultana knows, because they were once friends. So Sultana knows that there are certain things in the kitchen that Faith cannot do without. So what she did was, first, she went to ask Ruboy, and then later she asked Menson if they are aware or if they know where Faith hides his stash of food items. So Ruboy told her that Faith does not have anything. If everybody is hiding food, Faith does not hide food. He doesn't have anything. So she was like, no, but he should have food. He should have something. And Ruboy was like, no, that the only thing Faith eats in this house is popcorn and ice cream. Ice cream is in the fridge. Popcorn, I think it's usually somewhere. She went to Menson. She kept on asking him, do you know where Faith keeps his stash? Menson said he doesn't know, that he doesn't know anything where Faith keeps anything. It's not like Faith has things that he keeps. And then she was like, oh, that Faith normally drinks tea. Okay, where's the honey? And then K-Bobo said, oh, the honey is where? Because K-Bobo, that one was already going off, saying no manner of things. That Faith is proud. The guy is arrogant. The guy is very foolish. He was just saying a lot of things. So Sultana said, okay, K-Bobo should keep the honey. That if Faith needs the honey, he should instruct Faith to come to her. And K-Bobo was like, okay, no problem. But you know what? Don't even worry. I know what to do. I know what to do with the honey. That guy, he go see him today. He go hear him today. Now, K-Bobo was making food already for the general house. So Sultana was saying that, let me see if he's going to eat anything in this house today. If anybody makes food and gives to Faith, that person is going to answer to me. So K-Bobo was saying that, oh, that even this food that he's cooking is never cooking for Faith. Faith is not going to eat out of this food. That since Faith wants to be proud, arrogant, you know, it was just going off. Now, all of that was happening. As it was happening, Faith had started cleaning up the games area. He was tidying up the games area. And then he started tidying up the lounge. Now, the funny thing is, the person that quickly said they wanted to clean the lounge, ladies and gentlemen, the person was not cleaning the lounge. Half the housemates, after that briefing to clean the house, they had gone to bed, they had gone to sleep. It was only a few of them that actually took up their responsibilities to clean the areas that they had selected by themselves. And so Sultana did not go chasing after those people. For her, it was fate, and she was going to treat his fuck up today. So Faith had tidied up the games area, and then whilst she was doing all of her shenanigans in the kitchen, Faith was tidying up the lounge area. Now, Sultana, even before that time, she had gone ahead to pack all the honey, the milk, she had packed all those beverages that Faith normally eats, all those finger food, the groundnuts, the chips. She had packed all of them, put them inside the trash bag, put them inside a big rubber, and then she had taken it to the head of house lounge. And she had said she wants to see how Faith will eat today, you know, that she has gone to report to Big Brother. Now, she had already reported to Big Brother, but still, she said whatever Faith wants to eat, Faith has to come to her first before she will release anything to him. So she had taken it to the head of house lounge and told Isabella that, oh, she has brought these things, don't give it to Faith, da, 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 da. So whilst all of these things were going on, of course, Capable was saying a lot of things, a lot. Like, he literally carried the matter on his head. Like, he was very angry and aggravated, you know, talking about the guy brags. Everybody's giving you your credit, but you still want to be bragging. I say, Capable has not recovered from last night's shocker, you know, that instead of Big Brother to crucify Faith, Big Brother had instead saluted him, you know, for his consistency and all of his hard work. But anyways, whilst all of that was going on, Faith was tidying the lounge, as I said. Big Brother summoned Faith to the head of house lounge. Now, he had stayed there for a while, and then he had come out much later, right? So when he came out much later, he ate the remainder of his popcorn in the flask he normally carries around. And then later on, the cameras was upstairs, showing people upstairs. And then we're hearing Sultana shouting at Faith that, oh, instead of you to come and talk to me, you're going to go and tell Big Brother that you would wash it later. Why would you do that? Why would you do such a thing? Now, I don't know what she meant. I don't know why, but it seemed like maybe Big Brother had called Sultana or what. Maybe Big Brother had told Sultana, or maybe told him to tell Sultana to go and return those things. I don't know, because afterwards, not up to 10 minutes later, Sultana had gone to the head of house lounge and packed all those food stuffs, all those items that she removed from the kitchen. She had gone to pack them from the head of house lounge and returned them back to the kitchen. Yeah. Now, Faith, on the other hand, had gone upstairs. He was applying some sort of ointment all over his body. From time to time, we see him do this where he shaves the hair on his body. He said he's too hairy, so he shaves the hair on his body. So he had gone upstairs, and before we knew it, Faith started moving his luggages downstairs to the storeroom. I'm going to be frank with all of you, it was quite scary. Like, it was really scary because, guys, it was a shocker for me. I'm like, hey, hold on a second. Did this guy go and seek voluntary exit from Big Brother? Like, what the hell is going on? So even Jason J. Manson, and there was one or two persons upstairs too in the dressing area, they were shocked because they were looking at Faith. Faith was not talking to anybody. He was just there, you know, carrying his box. He would roll it downstairs, carry this box, roll it downstairs. And when he came back upstairs, Manson was genuinely scared. Manson was like, Faith, are you okay? Is everything okay? What's happening? What's going on? Because they knew Big Brother had called him to the diary room, right? So they were scared. They were like, are you leaving? What's happening? Faith was not talking to anybody. He was like, you know, he was just gesticulating randomly. Now, caller BBC CNN ran to the kitchen to go and inform K-Bobo, Rude Boy, and this Sultana, or who else, that that Faith is leaving. No, the guy is rolling his boxes, or what's going on. Now K-Bobo was like, that's his business. The guy is very proud, very arrogant. I don't even care. He was just talking. Rude Boy was like, because Rude Boy and Faith, they have, you know, some sort of good rapport, even though Rude Boy is very crass with the way he speaks to Faith and about Faith. So he rushed upstairs, and I don't know whatever he saw, whether he went to go and confirm if Faith was truly putting his boxes at the storeroom door. But then he ran back to the kitchen to tell K-Bobo, and K-Bobo was saying all of those things that he was saying, just going off like that. Now, Zita came to the kitchen and she was laughing and saying, this boy is very crazy, this boy is very stupid. Like, the atmosphere in the house seemed like, it was going to be a huge relief for everybody if Faith asked for voluntary exit and left the house. That was the mood. Even Manson, that was asking him too, that one too at some point was laughing with Jason J. It was like it's their biggest wish today. Like, they just want the guy to leave. They don't want him there. And looking at their reactions, ladies and gentlemen, you could tell that these people were kind of scared. You know, I feel like realization is dawning on them now that Faith is not an ordinary housemate. Yeah. there's something I'm trying not to say. There's something that's at the tip of my tongue. I want to say it, but I don't want to say it. Yeah. So I'm just going to leave it at that. But it seemed like it was one wish that they all had collectively, that Faith should leave the house. So some of them were openly rejoicing. Some of them were silently rejoicing that Faith was packing his bags and his boxes to the storeroom area. Now, Faith, on the other hand, after dropping some of his boxes, because it wasn't everything, he had dropped some of his boxes, he had continued to apply ointment all over his body, and then later on, he had gone to wash the toilet and the bathroom. So, ladies and gentlemen, I sat down, evaluated everything that happened this morning, and a lot came to my mind. Guys, I don't know if I should go ahead and share on this video, but I feel like this video is getting too lengthy. Maybe I should explain better during our YouTube live, yes. But here's what I'm going to say, all right? Here's what I'm going to say. Number one, it's quite understandable, Sultana's reaction, right? She's the head of house. She demands that respect. It is required that the housemaid should respect her authority, right? So let's assume that none of the housemates know or understand why Faith is mute, just like us, the viewers, right? The only way we are going to know is if Big Brother mentions it in Faith's diary session tomorrow. That's his pre-eviction diary session that the housemates normally have every Sunday. That's the only way we are going to know, right? If Big Brother does not mention it, then Faith is definitely going to mention the reason why he went mute, all right? But for now, nobody knows, right? But as far as the housemates are concerned, they believe that Faith is just deliberately being provocative by being mute. And for Sultana as the head of house, she's not having it. And guys, it is quite understandable. And I stand with her on that. And she had every right to get really upset and decide to impose the toilet or bathroom duties on Faith. She is not wrong in that regard. However, you can also argue that because of the malice that she has been keeping with Faith, she intentionally acted like Faith was giving her the silent treatment, whereas he was actually gesticulating to say that he wanted to clean the lounge, right? So we can argue and say that she was quite petty, you know, not to have acknowledged the guy's responses to her, and instead started claiming that Faith was not answering her when she was talking to him. Yeah, so we can argue that. So those two things can be right at the same time. Yes, we are not going astray. We're still on track with our line of thought, right? Now, Sultana going into the kitchen to go and pack all those food items, all those things, all those beverages that she knows fully well that Faith enjoys eating in the house. Knowing fully well that the guy rarely eats every other thing that everybody else eats in the house. That was quite petty and malicious. And ladies and gentlemen, if you think about it, compare it to when Faith was head of house and Emisi was behaving in a similar kind of way, like deliberately trying to provoke Faith as head of house. When Faith decided to exercise his powers as head of house by even giving Emisi grace to first go and do her dishes, her plate, wash her plate, and then second, to take permission from the people in charge of the kitchen, K-Bobo again, a lot of people saw it as tyranny. A lot of people said that it was being an authoritarian. A lot of people say it was being an instigator. He was being very arrogant. He was being proud. He was being disrespectful. He was being rude. I mean, housemate viewers, they called this guy all sorts of names. But then this morning, Sultana was doing worse than what Faith even attempted to do, because Faith had not even done anything. So Sultana literally went all out, did worse. Literally packed all those things to go hide in the head of house lounge. Now, imagine if Faith had packed all the protein in the fridge during his reign and went to put all of them in the head of house lounge in the freezer, knowing fully well that Emisi would look for protein to use to cook. Imagine if he had done that. It would have been worse. But Sultana did it this morning. And guess what? Housemates were solidly behind her. Viewers that hate Faith, they were all applauding Sultana for taking that initiative of exercising her authority as head of house. For them, she was doing the right thing because Faith was arrogant. Faith was disrespectful, disregarding the authority of the head of house. So look at those two scenarios. The one that happened this morning and Faith's situation with Emisi in week 7 when Faith was head of house. What do you think? I look forward to hearing your thoughts in the comment section and during our YouTube live today by 3 p.m. WAT. I'll catch you guys on the other side. But in the meantime, I'm going to stop talking here right now. Thanks for watching. Have an amazing day.